Alright, hello. This is going to be quick. I just wanted to talk about, somebody asked for the deck list in one of the videos I uploaded, so I'm just going to talk about this deck list pretty quickly. This is not what I'm currently, isn't the most recent version of Strike I've been playing, but this is the one I was playing before the ban list. I think it could still be fine. I think you might consider cutting some of the graveyard hate from it. Because the idea of this was before like Stein and stuff was banned and the Ishizu cards were limited, so tier was more prominent than it is right now. But I mean, tier is still very prominent. But the basic idea is you're going to go first. If they drop a hand trap, you have talents. If you go second, talents is also a very powerful card, of course. But the idea is you're going first. You're just sort of setting up some interaction. If you have like Ray plus multi-roll, you're going to be able to set up Widow Anchor or Shark Cannon depending on what you need or what you think is likely. If you have any read on your opponent, or maybe they hand trapped you and able to, like they dropped Maxi when you normal Ash. A lot of people do that for some reason, by the way. You just chain Ash effect and make Shizuku, and now they just went -1. People will say the worst Maxi is a card neutral, but the worst Maxi is actually just like literally a -1 for no reason. For good players, it can still just be like a bad effect Veiler, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, pretty much the idea is you go first. You have enough graveyard hate to force out tier player stuff when you're going first. I don't love being on 3 Shark Cannon just because you have to go first for it to be live, but it can still be like fine going second. Afterburners is just a really good board breaking card. And I really like it. Unfortunately, it's like garbage against tier, but it's searchable. It's a spell that's usually activatable, which is nice. The main thing I know we're thinking is of Hornet Drones, which I don't play because I don't think this card is good enough. Linkage is a much better Hornet Drones in Striker most of the time, unless you absolutely need to link climb. And I've just found that happens so incredibly rarely that it's just not even worth running drones. Usually it's more important to get spells in graveyard, which linkage allows for a combo play like activating engage and then chaining linkage to put that engage in the graveyard, so you have 3 spells in grave when it resolves. Is just like a big deal. Same thing for making somebody think your Afterburners isn't going to hit an important back row card and then changing linkage, just stuff like that. But obviously you need to not have a monster in your extra monster zone to be able to do that, but I found it has come up not infrequently, and I think linkage is much better in pure Sky Striker than is Hornet Drones. And I also don't like it because it's the only Striker card that plays super poorly into Maxi. I say super poorly, and I mean draws them 2 cards rather than draws them 1 card in most scenarios. Because usually, I like leaning into the fact that Sky Striker more or less can just kind of like ignore Maxi. But the idea is you're just loading up on hand traps. Sky Striker engine is pretty slow, so you want to be able to slow down your opponent enough. That's it. That's the idea. Access Code is a finisher that comes up once in a blue moon. Before linkage, Access Code would come up a ton. Because you have no way to get damage. But with linkage, having linkage and them at like 6,500 life points is just an OTK. Because you just do Shizuku, Synthros, linkage for Kagari. Kagari get linkage, hit them for 25, hit them for 25. I play Tukaina because it's a Sky Striker name. Phoenix is back row removal. Like, these 4 cards at the end here, if there's something else you prefer, if you want to run like Ningirsu here for like outs to weird monsters, you could like replace Unicorn with Ningirsu. I generally like the genericness of these cards, which is why I'm running them. Also, you can probably like cut a Kaina or a Hayate. I don't like cutting Hayate, but you can get away with that. I will say, because of the grindability of tier, like 3rd Kagari is really nice when you're in a grind game with tier. Just because of how far that deck can go. But yeah, you're pretty much just setting up like that, and trying to control the game until the Sky Striker engine like walks away with the game with like multi-roll setup. don't think I have anything else of note to say. I don't think there's, like, we're not on, Upstart stuff in this version of the deck, just because we're loading up so heavily on hand traps. If you're drawing, Upstart, you're not drawing hand traps. If you're going second, you do have to go second sometimes. And, this version, what it really comes down to is tier boards are super difficult to break through. So you don't really want to be in that position where you're like, oh, I'm gonna draw evenly matched or die. Instead, you're like, boy, I hope I draw DD Crow or I die. Nowadays, you can consider, like, the Bystials. But I don't like Bystials because it turns off all of your cards that are Sky Striker cards, and I wanted to play a Sky Striker deck. And, of course, the generic links that have been printed at this point aren't in Master Duel yet. So I do not, like, I'd rather run DD Crow. It's not fantastic, but I think it's better than being stuck on some Bystials that turn off your main engine. Unless you hard drew Ray or Rose. Or Rhoda. But that's like 4 cards, so 5. Multi-roll does it too, but that's it. I guess a hand trap into like Phoenix, but that's like so scuffed and is negging you a card just so you can play the game again. I don't know. It just seems not good to me. But I haven't tried it. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it's actually crazy. Oh, the other thing to note is you in this format need to kind of expect, even currently because of the Bystials, you just kind of need to expect Ray's not going to stay in grave. You need your game plans that you're making to say Ray is going to be banished from grave or shuffled back in deck. And you just have to account for that with your plays and how you're going to get back on the 2 striker names. Bystials are going to banish Ray, which is annoying. Like in a simplified game state, they draw, they activate a Bystial, banish Ray, and then they run over your monster because all of these cards are 1500 attack, and you probably don't have spent 10 spells in graveyard because this is a hand trap heavy version. Like I said, that's about it. I think with the nerfs to tier limit, in particular no spells, I'd probably lean towards like current format going like a going second heavy version. Where we place draw spells and try to draw into, I think like Change of Heart is fun. So doing something like Change of Heart or Mind Control going second, and then draw like playing Upstart and Chicken Game. Because you have a good number of cards that out your own Chicken Game. I've also had games where my opponent could have killed me if they destroyed the Chicken Game, but they wanted to draw a card, so I actually got to stay in the game and won that game. But that's very rare and counts on your opponent misplaying. So don't count on Chicken Game saving you. The other thing is, usually when I'm on Chicken Game, I like playing 1 copy of Area 0. Just, it's another card that outs it. So, like, if you have Engage and you're like, oh, I have a 3rd spell in grave, I can, like, get Area 0, play it over. Also, Area 0 is another, like, scuffed copy of Ray. If you have, multi-roll up or, like, afterburners and you don't have back row, you need to remove. Just stuff like that. That's it. We were on Called by the Grave, and I still am, obviously, because, of course, it's better Shark Cannon, essentially. Unless you're special something from the grave, in which case Shark Cannon's better, but usually you're not in a situation where you want to summon with Shark Cannon. But that will come up. Being able to special summon monsters, just remember, Shark Cannon does not negate the effects of the monster it summons if you choose to summon a monster with it, which is kind of insane. It's very funny to steal your opponent's Barone when they have 1 card in hand. You're like, okay, activate your card. Okay, that's really all I have to say on this deck list. I can, if we go back real quick, I'll discard changes. This is how the most recent version of the deck I've been running it at. Like you can see, we've cut the DD Crows and stuff. I think I'd prefer leaning this towards blind second, but I don't have a lot of time right now, so I haven't been playing a bunch of Sky Striker. I've been playing good decks like Tear Lament because I just want I like getting to max rank, and I just have not had a lot of time recently. So I have not been formulating this deck great for current format. I think this deck list as is can hit max rank. You do have to pilot pretty well. We're playing 2 Shark Cannon. That's our concession to the graveyard focus stuff. Like I said, Ray's not going to be in grave. Like, if you don't have Ray in graveyard, I probably wouldn't even Hayate send it unless you know your opponent's not playing a deck that can play steals or Shizu cards. These Shizu cards are actually better because it makes them shuffle back Rays instead of spells. Sometimes. Or they don't read Ray. I had a game that I should have lost and they just didn't shuffle back Ray. But this is the current list I'm running. This one does go first. As you can see, I'm on Chicken Game, and the idea is that we just have a bunch of cards that get rid of Chicken Game or drawing cards. We're probably fine. I like Triple Tack. Triple Tack is a nice card. The main problem with this here is that Sky Striker, because you don't really do anything turn 1, it tends to be hard to get them to activate a monster effect during main phase 1. Although sometimes I'll just, like, activate Ray's effect to get my opponent to, like, chain max E to draw a card so I can, like, activate Triple Tack, but that is not very common, and not usually worth it. Alright. That was already longer than I thought it was going to be. Hopefully this was informative, and, you got the information you wanted. I'm going to shut up now. Bye.